the Disneyverse. There are sequels that fans absolutely love and adore. They look fondly on because they enhance the characters from the first movie. And then there are other sequels where fans wish they were never created because it completely disrupts everything that we know about the characters from the first movie. Sequels definitely can make or break a series. Sequels have to be done right in order for fans to fall in love with them. We can take Frozen 2. Frozen 2 does a great job of expanding Anna and Elsa, and really expanding Elsa from where do her powers come from. It adds more to the story. There are sequels that are loved and hated, and so it really surprised me that one of my all-time favorite Disney sequels is actually severely hated. People do not love this movie, and it's not like I don't understand why, but today I will be defending The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea, because someone's gotta do it. If I don't do it, who else will do it? The Little Mermaid 2 was released in the year 2000, the original being released in 1989. It has been quite a while since we've seen the story of Ariel continue in this way. Now, there have been many other Ariel / The Little Mermaid series, such as some Disney series, and they enhance the characters, but we actually see Ariel still as a teenager. The Little Mermaid 2 is actually showcasing her as an adult. Many years have went by since The Little Mermaid, and so that is where we are going to start off with The Little Mermaid 2. But first, let's go back and actually recap the original Little Mermaid. And by that, I mean the Disney Little Mermaid and not the Hans Christian Andersen version. I think we all know the story of the Little Mermaid, but just to give a quick rundown, the story is about Ariel, a mermaid who longs to be with the humans. She wants to be part of their world. She's enamored by them. She has a whole cove dedicated to objects surfaced from this world. And yet, her father flat out denies this. Her father rebukes her treasures, her trove of treasures, and sends her crying away. And so, in order to fulfill her dream of being with the humans, Ariel turns to a sea witch named Ursula. Once selling her voice, she then turns into a human, and she gets to go to land and meet Eric and his castle folk, and she gets to live the life of a human for a few days until the sea witch Ursula disguises herself as a beautiful woman named Vanessa and then comes in to steal Eric via enchantment and tries to get married to him. And so then Ariel and Eric have to fight to, 1, get her voice back, 2, get him unenchanted, and then they ram her with a ship. But it's okay because in the end, Ariel gets to have her happy ending. Ariel goes on to marry Prince Eric, and so the Sea Princess, the Mermaid Princess, and the Human Prince then get married and unite the two worlds. No longer is the sea, the merfolk, and the human world completely divided. This marriage is a unison of two very different worlds. And there are, again, other series that explore some of these characters a little bit more. One of these other series actually explores the reason why Triton was so hellbent on not letting his daughter go anywhere near these humans. We see that his wife is killed by humans. He has this absolute hatred for humans because his precious wife, the mother of his children, his bride, was taken from him. He doesn't want to lose Ariel the way that he lost her mother. And yes, while he does come off as very hot-headed and very mean, he's doing it to try to protect his daughter. He doesn't want her to end up the same way her mother did. Triton comes off as a mean father, but in reality, he's just trying to do his best to protect his daughter at all costs, even if that means being the bad parent. And this is exactly what The Little Mermaid 2 explores in Return to the Sea. Ariel is now a mother herself. Many years have passed since the end of the original Little Mermaid, and now we are coming into this movie seeing the christening of Ariel's daughter, Melody. And oh my goodness, this song lives in my head rent-free. This is just so cute. It's so adorable seeing Ariel, someone who we watched grow up, now have her own daughter. It's just so beautiful, and baby Melody is just so cute. I love this scene. But the happiness doesn't stay very long, because all of a sudden at the christening, Morgana, the sister of Ursula, then rises from the ocean to try and take revenge for her sister's death. She plans to rise up and destroy this family, destroy the princess. Now, thankfully, Ariel and Eric were able to foil Morgana's plan, but she does threaten that she will come back one day, and she will take everything back that she and her sister were owed. She will seek revenge on Ariel, Triton, and Melody. Now, again, Ariel is a new mom. Melody cannot be more than a couple months old at this point. And so I think we really need to look at this from Ariel's point of view. Her daughter is now being threatened. Her new baby is being threatened by an evil force. And she decides that the only way to save her child is to not let her near the ocean. Ariel knows that if Melody returns to the sea, Morgana is going to capture her, and she is going to take her revenge by getting to Melody before she can get to Ariel. And so because of this, Ariel decides to sever the ties between the ocean and her daughter, who doesn't even know that her mother was a mermaid. And now 12 years have passed. Melody so desperately wants to venture into the sea. She has been kept from it her whole life, but it's right there, right beyond the castle walls. She longs for the ocean, and yet, for some reason, her mother is hell-bent on her not going toward the ocean. Ariel gets angry at her daughter for wanting to go to the ocean, and so this leads Melody to sneak out at night and steal a boat. And when she does, she unknowingly leads herself into Morgana, who reveals that her mother Ariel was a mermaid. She is the mermaid princess. She also reveals that Melody herself could be a mermaid, and she transforms her into a mermaid. Later, we see that Ariel finds out her daughter is missing and now in the sea, and so she gives up her human legs once more and turns into a mermaid, and she goes to save her daughter. And so we actually see this huge fight between mother and daughter, because Melody cannot believe that her mother was a mermaid. This mermaid didn't want to let her own daughter go back to the sea. It creates a huge fight and a lot of tension between these two. But to wrap up the plot, basically they are able to defeat Morgana and basically turn her into a block of ice, which sinks into the very depths of the ocean. And Melody is even given the option via Triton to become a mermaid forever, but instead she decides that what she wants to do is the same thing her mother tried to do, which is to destroy the wall separating sea and the humans, and to reunite the humans and the merfolk once more. And so I think you know where this is going. The reason people tend to hate this movie so much is because it is basically a retelling of The Little Mermaid, because we have a character who wants to be a part of another world. They want to reunite two worlds, and yet their parental figure says, nope, we're not doing that. It's too dangerous. I forbid you. And we see them go against their parents' wishes. They go off. They cause a lot of damage, but through it all, they are able to again reunite these two worlds. It is basically the same story of The Little Mermaid. Now, this is again where another problem arises that people have with this movie, is that Ariel is doing the exact same thing that her father did to her. Whether she knows it or not, she is doing the same thing by not letting her daughter experience her other world, the world that she is part of. She is both human and mermaid. It is only right that she gets to know the two worlds that she comes from. Her mother, Ariel, refuses. It's the same thing that Triton did. And people tend to argue with this movie that yes, it is the exact same story, and you would think that someone who lived through this would be a little bit different with their own daughter. But that's the thing. Ariel is a parent now. She's not a young teenager anymore. She's a parent. She has a daughter. It would be extremely dangerous to let her daughter venture back into the sea where there is a witch who is just waiting to get her hands on her. Ariel knows this, and she makes the critical decision as a mother to not let her daughter go back into the sea for her own safety. Yes, she is doing the same thing as Triton, but again, Triton only said these things to Ariel because he didn't want to lose his daughter the same way that he lost his wife, her mother. And here's the thing, I do believe that if Ariel and Eric maybe sat their child down and said, hey, you are a mermaid, you are a human too, but this is why you can't go into the ocean. I genuinely do think if they were more upfront with Melody instead of trying to hide who she was, because we have to remember, she was raised as a human, not even knowing that her mother was the mermaid princess who became a part of the human world. She doesn't know any of this, but I do think, you know, when she starts to become a preteen, when she starts to get very rebellious and really focusing on wanting to go to the ocean, I do think that Ariel and Eric should have sat down and explained to her, this is the dangers, this is who you are, but it's extremely dangerous. And this I can agree on, that yes, Ariel made the same mistake because she was not open with her child. I do believe that if Morgana wasn't even a part of this story, I really truly believe that Ariel would have ventured to the sea with Melody. I really think that she would have wanted to connect these two worlds and keep them connected. That was her whole goal, was to be a part of both worlds. Of course, she would want her daughter to also see both worlds coming together to live in perfect harmony, because she is harmony.
Mother? What are you doing? Nothing.
Melody is the blend of merfolk and human. She deserves to be a part of both worlds equally, but in the sea world, she is being threatened. There is a huge threat looming over her daughter's head. With everything that we know about Ariel's character, I truly do not believe that this was a decision she made lightly. I genuinely think this was a decision that she had to grieve over. This was her. She wanted to be part of both of these worlds, and I'm sure she would have wanted Melody to be part of both of these worlds. This movie is absolutely like a flipped coin. There are two sides of this story, just like a coin, and I really think that we need to really look and think about each side individually. Yes, Ariel is absolutely in the wrong for keeping her identity and her child's identity and her background a secret. She is absolutely in the wrong for it. But you cannot say that she is in the wrong for being a mother who wants to protect her child. But just like Triton, Ariel wanted to save her daughter. She wanted to keep her out of harm's way. That is the only thing that any parent strives for. Yes, personally, I believe she did it in the wrong way, but she still did it to try to protect her child. And again, I know that this is kind of the reason why people hate this movie, because it's just a retelling. How could Ariel be like her father? She lived through this. She should act differently. I think a lot of people forget that Ariel is now a parent. She's older now. She's not a teenager anymore. She's making decisions that will protect her child. I really think you have to look at this scenario from a parental view. I highly doubt that she wanted to keep these two worlds separate, but at the end of the day, her daughter and her daughter's safety is what mattered most to her.
We love you for who you are on the inside. Our very brave little girl.
Just like your mother.
Oh, grandfather.
And again, I definitely feel like this Disney sequel is definitely one the fans are going to be divided on. Why did Ariel seemingly not even learn her own lesson from her own movie when she was a teenager? Her father did the exact same thing to her that she's doing now to her daughter. So you would think that she would learn, you would think she would take it from a different approach. But I do think you also have to understand that in both cases, both parents, Triton and now his own own daughter Ariel are doing what they think is right to protect their own child. I do think it's a little finicky, and I'll be so real, I do kind of wish that the movie had a different plot line for Melody instead of it almost being like a retelling of her mother's own story, The Little Mermaid. I do wish that we got to see more, but I do really like Melody's story is still different enough from Ariel's story. Melody is a bit younger, she's not really focused on love. This is not a Disney love story. This is the story of a girl who just wants to know why she can't go to the sea. Why is there a wall separating her from the ocean and the land? She wants to know who she is, and when she finally learns the truth, she's angry, she's confused, she doesn't understand why her mother would do this. If her mother is a mermaid, the mermaid princess, how come she's hiding this from her? Why would she hide it from her? It's still a very different story. Even though the themes are very much the same, I do think that the characters are different enough to give a completely different story. But let me know down below in the comments, how do you all feel about this movie? How do you feel about The Little Mermaid 2? Was it one of your favorite sequels, or did you not like it because it does kind of feel like a repeated story from The Little Mermaid? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and if you would like to help support the channel, maybe consider becoming a Glitter Sakura and becoming a member of the channel. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!